All right, everyone. Here's another episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast. I'm your host, Nick Yerhart, and today I have a really cool guest. His name is Cory, and yep, I'm gonna start on his name almost every time. So, all right, Cory, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, Nick. Thanks for having me on today. Yeah, so myself, I'm in finance right now. I do financial consulting. My background, previous career was a general contractor, so I transferred from general contracting into the financial world just on the behalf of I was trying to figure out what to do with my finances. So it kind of brought me into the whole key of it. I like the process I went through with the company that helped me get my finances and get my financial plan in order for retirement and stuff like that. So I've actually joined forces with them now, and yes, that's what I'm doing now. Is just kind of I'm helping others now get their finances in order so they can have enough money when they retire and know exactly where they're going to be.
That's so important, and a lot of people are not prepared. A lot of people work their whole life, think that they're going to have enough, and they don't. So it's really important to have somebody like you on their side.
Yeah, the right now the baby boomers are the generation that's retiring right now, and they've been the one that's done the most as far as what you're supposed to do for retirement. Go get a job, make sure it's got a pension, make sure it's got a 401k, do all this. They've been contributing that for the longest period of time, thinking that when they retire, they're going to have enough money. They found
Hmm.
out, we're finding out that 7 out of 10 of them don't have enough money in retirement. So now they got to work a little longer. They got to work longer than they thought just to keep the lifestyle that they have, or they got to, change their lifestyle. Make things different, and most aren't willing to do that right away. So we're trying to bridge that gap, show people some different strategies so that they can have a guaranteed income and hopefully make it tax free income for them for life.
Yep, and that's so important. So if you had to give somebody like one piece of advice, like somebody who's young, they're just starting out, and they want to make sure that they have enough money for retirement, what would that piece of advice be?
So the number one thing is to start now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
whatever you do, start now. Don't think that you got to have a lot of money to start saving. You
Mm-hmm.
the little bit now that you save and let it start doing its thing. Remember that saying ever says, "Let the money work for you." Well, that's
Yep.
what we'll show you how to do. What a little bit can do in the period of time you need. And to have something is better than nothing. So
Yep.
get started, have it in place, get it going. We can always add to something later as
Mm-hmm.
maybe you get a raise in your job or your financial situation changes or structures that we can do and manipulate at those stages. But get started now. That little bit's going to make a big difference in the future.
Exactly, and that little bit of money that you put away now, it compounds over time. And the the compound effect is just amazing when it comes to money, and a lot of people don't know it.
Yep. I always tell them look up the rule of 72, and then that explains how money doubles. And
Mm-hmm.
you won't find that information in the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because basically what you do is you take the interest rate you're gaining, um, and and you're going to divide that into the oh to the money that you're saving. So I'm messing that all up, but I got my little spiel on cheat sheets all over the place, but I don't have them with me today. But when you do that, the compound interest will show you how long it takes for money to double. You divide the interest rate by into to the. Anyways, I'm missing it. Sorry.
Oh yeah, everybody can look up the rule of
70.
72.
Yep.
Yeah, so just look that up, and you'll be surprised.
Yeah.
So awesome. So, what's your favorite part about the industry that you're in?
It's basically opening people's mind.
Mhm.
It's we There's a modern way of looking at things now, and you need to open your mind and not be so structured in the old school way. So, most people think, go get that job, have a 401k, put as much into it as you can. Well, I can show you the numbers, and that's what's so fun is do all the math, show you where you're headed with the plan you have, and show you where you're going to be in at age 65, 67, whatever your goal is up there, right? I can show you what you're going to have and where you're going to be if you stay on the same path. And here's some tweaks we can make to get you either to that point with more money or get you to retire sooner with more money.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
Mhm.
we've helped people retire 10 years sooner than they thought. Put them on a different path with different solutions, with different products. There's just so much out there that people don't know to use, and it's a matter of just finding those ones that fit their situation to reach their goal.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And is one of those avenues r- real estate? Because I love real estate. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so real estate's a great asset class, and depending on and then real estate, there's a lot of subclasses in real estate. You can
Hmm.
have single family rentals, multifamily rentals. Um, we do, and I specialize in a little piece we call land banking, and that's
Hmm.
in raw land and right in the path of development. I love it. It works well for our clients if it fits in their plan, right? Because there's a
Exactly.
7 to 10 year hold period on this piece of property usually, and but we're gaining our clients, 12 to 15% per year on the money they've
Hmm.
invested in this. That's a pretty good return in that period of time. So you take a 40-year old as a 10 year period, right? So just say 10 years, he can roll that property twice and make 12 to 15% every year. That's good money.
Oh,
That's good.
yeah.
It can make a
Very
huge
good.
difference on their bottom line in their retirement.
Yeah, I've heard of buying raw land and doing that. I just never really looked into it. I've looked into more, multifamily.
Yeah.
That's what I know more about. Before I got started into coaching, that's what I was getting into is real estate, and that's actually how I found Grant Cardone, and then that led me down the path that I'm on now. But like, I love real estate. It wasn't gonna fit what I want my goals. You
Right.
know, I will still invest in real estate, just not at this time, because right now I know that I can help people more by doing what I'm doing now. Coaching and just getting the word out there. So that's what I love doing. But yeah, real estate. I've always liked it since I was a kid. Like, I think it's because I've moved. I think I'm on my 18th move in my life, and I'm only 32. So we were always looking at houses when I was growing up, and I loved it. It was just awesome to go and look at all these properties and different houses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's why I like it so much. Is it, real estate is fun, but you have to know what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, real estate's that piece. It's a tangible asset. I mean, you
Hmm.
can literally hold it, see it. It's there. It's
Yeah.
not going nowhere. So it's a good tangible asset. It's one of it should be in everybody's portfolio in some sort
Hmm.
of way, even if it's just your own home.
Yep.
That's an asset class. It's a piece of real estate you own, and you can
Hmm.
properly use your home as a retirement tool too. There's
Exactly.
different different strategies around it. I'm not saying
Hmm.
one's better than the other. It depends on what the need and situation is for each individual.
Yep. Exactly. I think you'll like this, and I want to tell you about it because I think you'll appreciate it. Is the house I bought, the home I live in, it sits on 4.5 acres, and half of that I plan on splitting up into three different properties and selling when I retire.
Yeah.
Well, I should say that was my plans before, but now I'm thinking I'm gonna end up moving somewhere a little warmer than Minnesota. But that was my plan when I bought the house. So like my little retirement fund.
Yeah, that's exactly the part of planning. Things
Hmm.
change, so we got to be able to maneuver and work our way through. There's not a cookie cutter way that's going to make everybody get to where they need to be.
No,
Things change in life, and we need to be able to make those jumps from here to there to make sure we're still getting to where we need to be.
exactly. Yeah, things change all the time. I thought I bought this house to live in for the rest of my life. Well, now my goals are a lot bigger than this house, so it doesn't look like I'm gonna be here much longer. So yeah,
Yeah, yep.
yeah,
So you had the success of getting the house you wanted that you thought you could live there, but success becomes the first failure because there's something else to strive for next every time.
exactly.
It's great. It's great that we can do that where we're at, and we can always better our situation.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly about success. It's like you reach a certain point, well, then you want more. So then you just keep striving for that next level, and that's where I'm at. I'm going to my next level right now, and it gives you a purpose. Like I wake up excited in the morning. I love what I'm doing, and I I I hope to see more people reach for their goals.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I try to do with all my clients. But that first thing they ask me when they come, usually they come, they ask me, "Oh, hey, I want to invest money. I want to, put some money away." And then the first thing I ask them, I go, "Well, what's your goal? What
Hmm.
is your goal? What
Hmm.
do you want? What if I can solve one problem for you today? What would that be? Let's start with that so we can get on the proper track and build a foundation from there."
Exactly. And have you run into what I've been running into? Is a lot of people don't actually have goals.
Yeah, everybody. I think some of that comes from they don't know how to talk to us yet. We haven't bought that into the relationship piece because the more
Yeah.
and more I have meetings with people, and they seem to open up more. And you got to
Hmm.
kind of fish it out of people. You got to kind
Oh
of
yeah.
pull it. They just don't want to spill it because I don't know what it is. They just don't want to. I think they don't want to say what their goals are because they don't want to fail meeting them. So
Hmm.
failures, everybody's scared of failure. Where
Hmm.
there's no such thing as failure as long as you keep going. So
Yeah.
it's a simple thing. But yeah, I run in that all the time. Like you're saying, people don't know what their goals are, and
Hmm.
it's like, well, let's work on it. Let's see what we can come
Yeah.
up with.
Because once you help people realize their goals, because a lot of people have goals, but it's at the back of their mind. They don't really think about it. Once you kind of pull it out of them, they're not excited. They're like, okay, I can do this. Like we kind of empower people to reach towards their goals and work towards them.
Yeah. Yep. 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 That's a great way to look at it. I know you've been coaching people, Nick, and I think it takes people like you, especially who, when I mean, let's just face it, we look at you and you think, well, man, if anybody's ever heard your story yet, they know that you just decided one day, I'm going to better my situation, and you went and did it.
Hmm.
If you
Yep,
can do it, who can't, right?
exactly.
Go make it happen.
Hmm. Yep, I love that. And I don't like. This is how I live. Like I don't ever say I can't. I say how can I?
Yeah.
And if more people would live like that, like the world just opens up to like stop looking at things like, oh, I can't do that. Just look at it and go, okay, how can I? And then you're just gonna work through that obstacle and get through it. And when you come out the other side, you can be like, all right, I did it, awesome. Like that's just how I live.
Yeah, no, you're living it, you're doing it, Nick, and that's great. If we can just find more people to believe in themselves, go ahead and take
Mm-hmm.
that initiative. I think it'll take a lot of the negativity out of our system, out of our world, out of everything. If people would strive to be better, I mean, how can we not have a better world, life, country, whatever, however you want to look at it? As big as you want to dream. It's
Yep.
if we just got to have the positive mindset and keep working for
Mm-hmm.
better things.
Yeah, that's the number one thing I work on with my clients is getting that positive mindset. Because I mean, as you know, most people have a negative mindset. That's just kind of like how it is now, and it's just like once you can make that mental shift to think more positively about like everything, your whole world just opens up. You know,
Yep.
it just opens up. So yeah, I love taking my clients through that, and then seeing how they are after that. It's just remarkable.
Yep. That's the biggest shift. I don't care what business line you're in. Getting your client, whatever, to shift their mind to know that they need to start at least looking at something different.
Hmm.
Don't stay stuck. If you
Yes.
think you're stuck, you're not stuck. So we'll help you. We'll help you get unstuck. It's
Yep.
not the problem. Like, I had a client one time who, where we went through their finances, they flat weren't making enough money to save money with their finances at the time.
Hmm.
And they got really depressed after we went through it all because they thought, they're going to come in and I'm going to save the day, right?
Hmm.
Well, it just doesn't work like that. But we can work through this. We can find a solution. So the solution was, come do a part-time job. Come work with us so you can learn about money at the same time earn a little bit of money, right? So now
Hmm.
it just a little small, only working on part-time, maybe only working 4 hours extra a week, and they make a little extra money. They start seeing it. And the best part is they made that extra money and they learned about money. So they just didn't just go spend that money. So they
Yep.
learned how to manipulate it so it could grow, and then they can have more spendable dollars in their pocket later.
Yep. Exactly. So like, what you really work on is people's mindset about money, because like, if you don't have the right mindset about money and like how money works and how it should work for you, then it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's gonna be gone. Would you agree with that?
Yep, I always tell people. So they always, one of our planning, first thing in our planning situation is like, if you could retire today, how much money would you need to make a year to live comfortably in the lifestyle you want? And
Mm-hmm.
most people don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
right? They don't even know. But usually they say they'd say a number that's just a little bit above what they make today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit above. They think, okay, I can that'll be perfect, right? Well, I tell you what, that's all changing because when you meet with them 10 years, 15 years later, they're making more money and they have saved no more than what they have. But so now they've just taken that number and all they do is creep it up because the more money they make, the more money they spend.
Yep.
They bought a nicer car, they bought a nicer house, which is all great. Enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But take a small little piece of that and put it off to the side here so it starts, like you said, that compounding interest. So
Mm-hmm.
when you get to that certain point, now you have a lump sum of money. And now you have that nest egg for retirement so you don't have to work all your life.
Yep. And I've been guilty of doing that myself. You know, like from the time that I bought my house 9 years ago to now. Well, I should say a year ago because I learned a lot in the last year. But same house, but I was making double what I made before. But do you think I had any more money put away? No.
No.
But I had a lot of toys, So, which now I sold most of my toys because it's not going to help me get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
So I want to focus on my business. So, like the hardest toy I had to sell was my side by side,
Yeah.
which is like a Polaris razor. I didn't have that one, but I bought a brand new side by side like 3 years ago. I loved it. I drove around town all the time, took it out to the trails. But then one day I was like, okay, number one, I don't use it like I used to because I started my business, so my time goes into this now. And like that's a payment that I don't really need right now, you know. So I sold it. I took a hit on it. Took a $10,000 hit on it, but no more payment. It's gone. Now I can focus on this.
Yep. Yep.
But it's a lot harder to kind of go backwards in that sense. Like when you make more money and you accumulate more, things to enjoy, it's hard to get rid of those so then you can save them. Like so, if you just start out by saving money, that's way more valuable than buying all this junk that you don't need.
Yeah. Well, you should have talked to me ahead of time before you bought all that stuff.
Yep,
But hey,
exactly.
hindsight's foresight, right? I mean,
Yep.
and I wouldn't have told you not to buy it. That's not
Mm-hmm.
what I would have told you. I would have told you, okay, let's strategize how we buy this and save money at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because so you could put money into certain accounts, like there's this insurance account, right? There's cash value accounts. I mean, we see these guys on TikTok and everywhere
Mm-hmm.
else talking about it all the time. Oh, buy this IUL, you got to put money here and put money there. Those are great products. As long as they're structured properly and done correctly, they're great products. And
Mm-hmm.
you can structure it so you know how much money you're going to have in it this year to go pull money out of that account, buy that toy you want, enjoy it while your money's still gaining interest. You're just borrowing against it. So
Yeah.
there's simple strategies to get you where you need to be and then still enjoy life. That's the key.
Yeah.
But got to be open minded enough to sit down and take a look at it first.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I've heard of those accounts, but I've never really looked into it. But yeah, I basically just seen it on TikTok. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that sounds cool, you know.
that's where everybody is.
So
No, it's just that's fine. I mean, I listen to a lot of bad ones on there. They'll start doing it, and I'm like, oh, don't do that,
yeah,
don't do that. But you know,
yeah,
you could
yeah. I can't say I know much about finance, but I'm slowly I learning, So and now I got you. So if I need help, I know who to call.
yeah, just give me a holler.
So
We'll see what we can do. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, that's not a problem. I mean, you're going to be successful. I mean, how many people in your situation are doing their podcasting like you're doing now? I mean, these
Mm-hmm.
are just these are huge steps. It's
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have two side by sides before you know it. You won't know which one to drive.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I know that you started your own podcast. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, so I started. It's called the Lost Coast Podcast, um, and it. I've started it just to build relationships and to help the community that I'm in. So what I
Mm-hmm.
started it for was to go and help promote other entrepreneurs, other business owners, and everybody basically in my community. And of course, it can be worldwide. We're not limited to my community, but um, just to give those people who starting up businesses or had a business and struggling, just some free promotion, basically from free advertising. So
Mm-hmm.
I go to those businesses and hey, let's get on a podcast, and let's promote your business. And we post it so people can see it, and I'll post it on the social media sites and stuff like that. So to kind of keep people's businesses top of mind, because some of these mom and pops places, they kind of people forget and they go, oh man, I always forget about that place. But
Yeah.
I started a podcast as a relationship builder within my
Mm-hmm.
community and a way to give back. And I've just gotten started with it, but it's been a lot of fun. I mean, being in the podcasting world now, I got to meet you, and then meet
Mm-hmm.
all these other new business owners, people I've never even met before. But
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting. Podcasting is it's a way to build relationships, and I really enjoy the fact that we can sit down, have a conversation, and never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I love doing this, and like for me, podcasts like have a special place in my heart. So years ago, before I started this journey, that's what actually got me on this journey to, improve myself, self development, and what turned me into an entrepreneur is I found a podcast called the Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial, and that podcast changed my whole life. Like I went from hating who I was, hating the fact that I had a disability. I didn't love myself at all, and through that podcast, I was able to work through all of that and learn how to love myself, learn to accept that I am, I do have a disability, but guess what? That makes me who I am.
Yeah,
I am the person I am, you know, the the fighter because of that. And I look at it as like a blessing now, not as a negative thing. It's
yeah,
a, a positive thing. So yeah, that podcast started also. Then once I had the opportunity to start my own, I was like, all right, let's go.
yeah. No, it's 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 a different way of building relationships, you know. But it's great. I mean,
Hmm.
your outreach is wide now. So,
Yeah,
and like I just I can't say enough about it. And Steve Hamoon, who's helping me get my podcast started, and you're kind of working with him too. He's been
yeah.
great. He's kind of putting it all in these lineups. Here's the pieces, making it pretty simple, and
Hmm.
getting it started.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he's helping me so much and just, teaching us how to have a good show.
Yep.
It's just awesome. Really awesome. All right, so I got one more question for you.
All right.
What does my slogan, "Your abilities are infinite," mean to you?
Let's see here. The slogan, "Your abilities are infinite," mean to me. Well, I would have to say that the only one holding you back is yourself. So, you have the infinite ability to reach whatever goals and dreams you want. So, you just take a step every time. Take a step forward every time. And if something knocks you down, you got to 2 steps back. You keep going forward. You're gonna keep going forward. I mean, I'm gonna say finish line, but there's no finish line when you're talking infinite. You
Hmm.
just keep going. Always make that thing. Always reach to get to the next level. It's never ending stairs.
Yep, I love that. Just one step at a time. Just keep on going. I
Yep.
love that. All right, how can people find you?
The easiest way to find me is to be on a LinkedIn account. Just look up Cory Nunes. I'm associated with Mott Financial there. So you'll be able to find me on the LinkedIn account. Otherwise, you can give me a call, 707-599-0524. So that's it. It's simple. Give me a call. Leave me a message if I don't answer, because I probably won't recognize your number, so I probably won't answer. But but leave me a message
Yep.
and I'll get right back to you. But yeah, that's the easiest way to get a hold of me is either through LinkedIn, leave me a message, or my phone.
Okay, awesome. And I'll put all your info in the show notes so people, people can find you.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
All right, Cory, this was really awesome, and thank you so much for being on the show.
All right, thanks, Nick.
All right, everyone, this has been another episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast. I'll see you on the next one. And remember, your abilities are infinite.